right, man. What do we want to do with this?
What are we going to do?
Dave, I don't know what you know, I mean, how long it's been on the table, but you know the prosecutor has a DUI on the table. But I don't know.
There's no way I'm taking it down. I can't do it. It's been, this the issue in Cape is more some people for entertainment is old.
Let me solve this thing since I figure out how to do it here.
They've been doing it for a long time. Not just to me. Pretty bad when even the police beg you to do something about it.
All right. You said you'd have people you wanted to get subpoenas out on. Who were you thinking you needed to get a subpoena on?
Oh, man. Probably half of them, I don't even know who they are at this point because I didn't want to contact them. At this point, I've put one in for Judge Clauges myself.
Well, what would Judge Clauges have to do with the jury trial for your personal injury case, or for this?
Because the time for the trial is unlawful. Requires 6 weeks notice by U.S. mail. All parties notified 6 weeks, Rule 11.
I know, but that's something you get from a book. I don't know what you get Judge Clauges to have him subpoenaed for, and I don't know if he can.
Well, at this point, I don't know what you're going to do. In his answer, he lies on me. So, this thing's 2 years old, and he bold-faced lies in his answer and claims that there was a continuance taken when a capias was issued on him. What he's doing is covering up for the fact that that they left me on the bench during scheduling and then issued dates and handed them to Kruger? Kruger, yeah. They handed the dates to Kruger, and then he rolled out without even talking to me, which we had a whole hearing about it, and that's basically what was said happened. But then when he issues his answer, he changes it to continuance told to me, which is a bold-faced lie, and that's why my records were altered at the clerk's office, whited out, and then returned back to me. The clerk probably should be called, considering that they whited out my documents, and then they slipped them back to me underneath an appeal, and it's on the court docket that they were returned. But the way that they actually did it was they slipped them under the appeal packet, and they whited them out. When you're getting to the point where felonies are being committed to convict somebody, I would say you need solved. There's a lot to do with it. And Magistrate Mullins framed my brother on a case that had been dismissed. Actually, he had 3 cases that turned into 6. It was dismissed on probable cause by Summers. One, never was a DUI. And Granville was operating down a jurisdiction, and they threw it out. And they were claiming that they were assisting a West Everett police officer, but the thing is, the West Everett cop was in the station booking a DUI at the time, and they claimed that, and it was thrown out. So they changed the case number, and they changed the case number, and they brought the officer that was booking the DUI out and made him the arresting officer at the scene. And Mullins knew full well about it, and they brought the case back to get life, made it a new case completely with the same arresting officer that was booking the DUI. It's so vindictive you can't even imagine. Worst thing is he was never even driving anything. He was sitting on a curb And that's Granville Police again.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we start with this immediate case? Figure out.
Well, that involves it. I mean, he can't be the judge. Well, I definitely want, I guess I want
We'll start with the officer, obviously.
Obviously the officer, yeah.
And which one was it? Was this one?
The director of the ER, the EMS driver, EMS workers. Had an ER, had a patient advocate at WVU, had an ER at WVU, and a nurse at WVU. Whoever manufactures the dispatch records that have been altered, Sprint phone records for, that would be your phone number.
Wouldn't be Sprint.
Yes, it's Sprint. That's the phone you had then, yes.
Is that old?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And they may have problems producing that.
Yeah, hopefully they can get it, because, I mean, no attorney has been able to do anything. That's nobody will do anything. That's what's 2 years old. That's why a case shouldn't be 2 years old. That's obviously. And there's probably a problem getting it. Yeah, possibly now. But the thing is that they don't have the observation time. They're lying. They altered the dispatch records. You can see the seconds are on some of the numbers. The seconds are there from on some. You know, it's all there. Those records need guys, especially because I made a phone call too at a certain time, which is going to show that the cop is a liar. His doctor would be a good one.
Did they give you any kind of an accident report on that thing?
Oh yeah, the accident. We're going to need the accident report, a real one.
They didn't really prepare one, did they? The only thing I see is
Of course not.
Well, I have a hard time understanding how they're repairing it because the second vehicle was supposedly a cop car,
It was gone.
and he left the scene of the accident.
You'll have to see that.
He left the scene of the accident. When the county cop showed up, there was only one vehicle left.
Who came in? The EMS?
No, it was the county cop,
They claim that.
sheriff's deputy. Showed up to investigate the accident. There was only one vehicle sitting there. The other cop had left.
Obviously, if the EMS would have grabbed me, because I'm the only one that actually bumped the window, you know. I had to work hard.
I don't understand where a cop is involved in an accident. I don't see where he has any more reason to leave the scene of the accident than anybody else would.
He wanted me to leave.
Yeah, that's undoubtedly what he wanted. But
It
didn't
took them
happen.
2 minutes to get there. They were already there. Dispatch. Some of them were there within seconds. By their stories. Give me a break. Can't write this in fiction. Yeah, I mean, 8 days earlier, the lawsuit against Mullins became active. He can't be the judge on this. There's no way he's going to be the judge.
What lawsuit?
Against Granville and Mullins and for framing my brother for 3 cases.
Did you name him in that?
They named him. My brother named him, yes. My brother named him. 8 days earlier, they got past immunities on the 2 police officers. Of course, they dropped it against Mullins because of immunities, but that doesn't mean that he didn't do exactly what he was accused of. That's the thing. And my brother dropped it. What are you going to do when they try to kill you? They try to kill your little brother. What are you going to do but drop it? It was left alive. It was going to mediation 8 days earlier. How ironic. My first accident in my lifetime.
Okay, so in his narrative, he says that the Granville officer was transported by EMS for neck pain. So you're saying that the guy left the scene.
Read his statement. You got to read his statement where he says that he told me to stay there and he left.
Why did he say he needed to leave?
I guess he was injured, he says.
He doesn't really describe it.
But he was well enough to drive his
Guarantee you one thing.
car away and put it somewhere else. It was not on the scene anymore.
If an EMS was dispatched to the scene, why wouldn't an EMS talk to me, the guy in the little Subaru, not the guy in the huge-ass SUV that says that it never got a scratch in the newspaper? Why is that? Instead, I'm drugged out by the air, basically. I'd also like to have the records for holding at the Mononglaia County Jail where they beat me all night in the disciplinary room. Chained to the pisser in the floor in the padded cell they're not even supposed to have. King's own torture chamber. I'd like to have those. So there's some kind of tape record, something.
And his gross statement doesn't say, he doesn't describe that he left the scene.
No,
And he does somewhere in there.
I did not investigate further. I told the driver to sit in his car. I then returned to my cruiser and tried to relax my injuries. As Sergeant Forbes and Teeth arrived on scene.
He wasn't there. He drove all the way down. It's where you turn into the town center. He drove all the last time I saw him, he was driving, turning right at the sheets.
Why would he have any more reason to leave the scene of an accident than anybody else that was involved in the scene of an accident?
Why would he tell me to wait in my car? Where the hell else am I going to go? Bottom line is he left.
Well, he was a party in the accident.
You know, like I said,
driver in the
I told you, too, it's going to be hard to prove that he left the scene. It ain't going to be easy. But the EMS worker would be a way to do it. Because I don't, where they picked him up is the key right there.
Well,
And I don't see how EMS...
There should have been a police report for the deputy that got there.
I've never been in an accident where EMS is dispatched to an accident and they don't talk to the other person in the accident. How's that work? I never saw EMS. He drove all the way to the sheets. Well, how is the EMS going to explain not talking to the other person in the accident? Usually they get a sign.
The scene of the accident, the man that drove away.
State law, they get a release sign when you have an accident to make sure you're okay if the EMS is dispatched to the scene. That's a fact.
And that's the scene of the accident. He broke the law the same as you would have.
Well, that's the thing. The EMS was never there, or they'd have got a signed waiver from me, the other person in the accident. They never made it to the accident scene. Or he's saying he just didn't talk to me because I didn't call the EMS, and now the police have me. It don't work like that.
He went around a corner somewhere and was waiting on you.
I understand what happened. I know what happened. That's what I'm saying. And the dispatch on the EMS is going to prove that. He was never at the scene. The EMS was never at the scene, or they'd have talked to me. I mean, come on. There's not a picture. There's not even a license plate number. There's not even a description of the car. This is a joke. West Virginia requires the accident report. Where's the accident report? They did it. They sure did it beautiful. They know how to do it. A DUI report. Why can't they do an accident report?
Well, this is things we need to cover real quick, and this is the, regardless he left the scene. I mean, the issue's not going to be. The issue's going to be whether there's DUI with injury. He went to the doctor. He's going to have, even if it's tentative at best, some kind of documentation or some kind of even come to testify that he was injured or.
Well, that's in there. Actually, the doctor actually says that he doubts there's any injury. So that there was an old injury in the area that he's complaining at, that he already had the injury.
Yeah, but you understand that's not really matter.
That's going to be up to the jury. It does matter, whether you like it or not.
Okay, if two people, one's not a cop, if two people have an accident
Yes.
on the street, does one of them have the right to drive off and go to the hospital?
Might have been drunk.
What is?
The issue is whether or not, okay, he wasn't charged. All I'm saying he's got, and I agree with you, that wasn't appropriate and under any circumstances.
There couldn't be an investigation of what happened there because there wasn't but one vehicle there.
And
Who's going to testify with
And
an
maybe when
accident?
he was involved in an accident, he's the same as any other person that's involved in an accident.
Fact.
If he called EMS and had them come pick you up, and don't tell me he had to go to Sheets to draw something.
I don't even know
Call
how.
somebody.
Why are we not
He
trying
was in
to?
a
Why are we
patrol
not
car,
trying
he's got a radio, I guarantee he's got a cell phone, he's got a radio, he didn't have to go anywhere to get help.
I can't figure out what's not being done about the time that I have 12 days notice. I actually got the certified notice on the 10th of April. Actually didn't receive it till the 11th, but it was postmarked the 10th. Registered mail from the magistrate court the day after I sued him, the clerk, for not releasing records of leaving me on the bench in this case and then issuing a capias on me. I don't understand why we're not attacking the fact that I'm supposed to get 6 weeks notice to prepare for the trial. Why am I being forced to do this on 12 days notice? That's what I don't get. Because it's completely unlawful. There's nothing legal about the trial. Having the trial is totally illegal.
no, he called me to set that day. It still would be under the deadline for the time frame, but.
You can't call. Rule 11 says by mail, period. That's what it says. Shall be. All parties notice 6 weeks prior to trial. Notice of trial. Rule 11. Rules of criminal procedure for magistrate courts. That's what it is. How are we having a trial? Why don't I get a right to preparation? Everywhere I turn, I'm being robbed my right to preparation. It's just like the answer in my writ of prohibition they claim was served to you, but in your letter you say you never got it, you know. This is ridiculous. Which I was robbed all my time to prepare because I felt they didn't answer it because I never got an answer because it was sent to you. Like your letter, you don't know nothing about it. More perjury, more bullshit. A big one is the observation time. You can see it ain't there. I mean, you can see. They claim, just add up the times and sit there and look. They say they give me a 15-minute observation time between before the portable, which I flew a 1.9. You're talking, they had minutes to get me. He made it to the hospital. I made it to the 2 minutes apart from him. I made it to the freaking jail 2 minutes apart from him getting to the hospital in the ambulance. How's that work? And the dispatch records are altered. You can look at them and see they alter them. And even if they're altered, hell, some of the people were already on the scene. Tons of them. They didn't have it. They dragged me right out of the car. Straight to the police station and beat my ass. Over a lawsuit. Filed against Mullins. And he's going to judge me. You've got to be joking me.
how did you get, the Mullins was named in a lawsuit?
Yeah.
Filed by your brother?
Yeah, it's 3 cases turned into 6. They were all dismissed. 1983 suit, yes. Against Starkly and Granville City, a Granville cop and a Westover cop, and it survived the immunities on those 2. But they dismissed it against, they dropped it because they tried to kill me. In this case, 8 days later, they oh my God. Punch it up, Granville versus Fortney.
Well, that's gonna be the best way. We've got issues to argue the time frames, the EMS workers. I mean, they're going to have to account for where they picked him up at. And if he picked him up at down at the
Yeah.
he's saying that he was at the scene.
Exactly.
That's my theory.
Anyway, I mean, it's state law that ambulance is dispatched, they talk to the person. I mean, you can look at a report to see that.
Well, I think he done. I think he went around the corner and parked and waited on him to pull out.
Well, I had a head injury, so it's hard for me to remember what
He
happened.
didn't come and check that. He didn't know nothing.
Well, there wasn't no ambulance there. They didn't know I had a head injury. Ambulances don't show up at an accident in my lifetime.
He figured if you left this, you sitting there by yourself, you
I understand what happened.
And I don't feel that if he was in an accident, he had any right to leave it.
No, it's not right
Or anybody
to
else.
treat a cop and not treat the other person in the accident who actually was hurt.
Leaving the scene of an accident, that's breaking the law, and you don't have anything giving him that right.
No, it's
He
a
couldn't
felony.
have done it too much because he drove away.
If I left the scene of the accident, I'd have been getting a felony. I'd have had the felony. That's what they wanted, a felony. That's what it's all about. Any more than I said, failed to appear on the marijuana case.
And if they kept the car for evidence, the Subaru, like they should, you could see the damage on it, though it didn't hurt anybody.
No.
Not in a major vehicle.
What really got me was the braking. The braking's what got me. I'm tall and little damn Subaru is so small. Well, they reported in the paper it said he didn't even get a scratch. Car had no scratch. I think we might be able to get a picture of the car. I think
The
it,
newspaper said there wasn't the
It did.
car didn't have any scratch on it?
yeah, you read that the next day. Remember, said it had said it might have had a scratch in the paint on the tow hitch. It had a special bumper on it. It had a
It wasn't a car.
This truck had this. See, and that's why they didn't want it around. I think, and why they wouldn't take no pictures, because it had a box. I'm a metal fabricator. It had a tan box tube bumper, like 4x4. I've never seen anything like that on a police car in my life. Probably had my name welded on it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't a normal bumper either. It wasn't one that I've ever seen on any kind of police car. In my lifetime. I make them. I make bumpers like that. I know what they're like, yeah. A real nice one. Because I remember the minute I looked up, the one thought I had was, man, that's a real nice bumper. It's my first thought.
But is there any police report in there from the sheriff's deputy that actually done the investigation?
Because all I have from Marion County Sheriff's Department
What?
is that.
Marion County, Mon County.
Mon County.
Yeah, I mean, but he really doesn't, I mean, he doesn't describe the scene, he doesn't describe anything, nothing.
He can't,
Because
because
he
it was
wasn't-
altered.
Because it was
The
altered.
vehicle left, it wasn't there, there was only one
Didn't
vehicle.
have
sitting
a
there.
vehicle.
I was transported. Yeah, by the time he's saying that the Granville officer was transported by EMS for neck pain, was feeling for it and the active smell.
Well, that's fine, but where was his vehicle at? He left the scene of the accident, he altered it. He was gone.
The whole thing is, where's the police reports on the accident? The accident report. West Virginia, there's a, I mean, you can, I mean, every accident I've ever seen, there's an accident report.
An accident report to where it's supposed to be, because the party had left.
Because there's no car. There's no car to be in the accident.
No driver.
Showed an angle, showed where it happened, showed how it happened, nothing. They couldn't draw a diagram.
Because it wasn't there. Because they don't want nobody, if you take a picture of it, you got to see the bumper, and then people are going to ask why the bumper's like that.
And he should have been charged with leaving the scene of an accident.
It wasn't a normal bumper. It was made for me. Oh, shit.
Okay. Just being realistic about it. The argument it is going to be grounds. I mean, we got to argue, and I'm going to sit down and go through all the time frames again and re-raise the issue of the time limits for having this tried at all to see what, to compare, because he filed that writ, and I didn't know you filed a damn writ, so I'm sitting here waiting for a case to go to trial and waiting for the judge to set a date. I never got a date, and that's what the deal was with that.
Well, I understand.
And
They're not noticing anybody. They're not noticing me ever.
Because I didn't
never
know
noticed
the writ had been filed. So when the writ was filed,
well,
it stays the hearing date.
They got your address on it. You want to see? That's who they served the answer. That's what they say. I don't believe. I never believed you did, because they don't serve anything. They're not serving anything.
But regardless, the time frame, I need to go back and look at that and see if there's, make sure that we're...
That's all changing now, yeah, because so much has happened. And that's the worst thing about the time frame. What really upsets me about it is our whole hearing, on the time frame, and the reason they don't want that to come out the minute I filed the intent to appeal, which I messed up. I filed it in the circuit court, which really got them mad. I filed it in the circuit court, which was under the old laws, pre-2010 was right, which I didn't know. I'd never filed one before, so I filed it in that court. So that's immediately when they called you on the phone and wanted to try me, because I filed the intent and a request for transcripts of that hearing. Because that hearing, I made the argument about, scheduling and all that, and he said, that's not going to get them past me, period. But I think he thought I was crazy and lying about them framing me on the capias, because at the end of it, he begged them to change his story. It all hinged on that 14th, and they're saying it's a continuance. They were saying it's a continuance, but, I mean, I've got the letter from the guy where he says, from the capias that they issued. They say that November 19th, he took a continuance. I missed the hearing because I wasn't allowed in the scheduling hearing. And I had a broken leg. They rebuilt my whole foot, right? I was going 2 days. I was going to surgery. So I probably, against doctor's orders, I couldn't even walk. I went down there to the scheduled hearing because I figured I'd never met this attorney. I never talked to him, right? So I figured I'd show up for this. I didn't know it was a scheduled hearing or what hearing it was. I just went down there, sat on a bench, and he went in the courtroom, and he went out of the courtroom, and he left, right? So I go in to see Judge Summers, and Judge Summers is there, and I said, Judge Summers, what's going on with my hearing? And he said, I don't know what's going on. I knew you were out on the bench. I don't know why your attorney didn't come and get you. So the next thing you know, I'm like, I call him. I can't get a hold of him. So I go to...
Well, which attorney was that?
That was, what's his name here?
Earhart?
So I called, no, that wasn't Earhart. He didn't do that. But, I mean, that's the thing. Now, this is Kroger, yeah. Now, if you, I'll just go ahead and give you a copy of this, because, right here, because, wait a minute, I'll give you, try to get you a good one, because are these the same? 2011. See, now, like this, so he leaves me on the bench, and man, Claudius was mad about it, because, I mean, he kept telling Summers, you know, I got kind of uptight about it, because they framed me on a failure to appear on the marijuana charge. They served a known wrong address, you know, and I had a summons from the prosecutor's office, like, they know my address, and they just did it, and not only that, but I was serving paper on them, playing with service, and see, now they told a continuance. They say he took a continuance on the 9th. He never took no continuances. He was in there making a warrant on me, and a hearing the 3 of them that I was at. I was at the hearing. I wasn't allowed in the hearing. Then they issued the dates, and they admit that they don't even serve anyone notice. Prior to this, they didn't serve anybody notice. They say it in the transcripts in there. They hand you a sheet with the times and dates on it. They don't do anything by Rule 11. They just hand the sheet out in the scheduling hearing, which I don't know why the scheduling hearing, why you have it, because people agree to the scheduling, and then they don't show up or they take a continuance. But on November 9th, they told him a continuance when I wasn't even allowed in the hearing, and they lied. Actually, I would have had a habeas warrant issued because I was never given the dates, and I didn't appear. And that's how they get the time. So, I mean, no wonder he don't want me to appeal on him. And they admit, like, I'll give Judge Summers that. He didn't lie. When I was in the hearing, I'll give him 100% credit. Judge Summers apparently is the only thing that stopped it, because he said clauses fit over and over. If I go back in this chambers, I'm going to consider him on the bench. Do you understand that? And he told her, he said, you know, Kruger wouldn't know him from Adam. And he looked at the prosecutor, and he said, but you know, he didn't say it. Well, you know, he's letting her know that she should have. I mean, when I'm sitting on the bench, at least made sure I was in the hearing at scheduling, you know. And the thing is, what was bad about it is I went to surgery 2 days later. I couldn't get a hold of my lawyer. What am I supposed to do? My foot's cut in a million pieces. I mean, then you're on mad pills, and I couldn't walk for 9 months. I mean, I was out of it. And then they issued, next thing you know, I'm getting a habeas warrant issued on me.
What case was the case in?
That case. Now, they did the warrant on the other two. They did that totally different. It's just they just continually issue and trying to issue cases on me. I've never missed court. I mean, I tell everybody never to, because it affects your classification when you go to prison or you go to jail. You know, you end up for a DUI if you miss or failure to appear. These people don't understand that. You end up in Mount Olive, maximum security. It ain't no joke. It ain't funny. And, hey, when they arrested me on the marijuana, the county police took me in a room and said, we're tired of them doing this to people. Somebody needs to do something, because they're using service to destroy people. Even, you know, like they said, 10 years down the road, that still affects you if you get in trouble. You know, it's ridiculous that they do that. It's dirty. But, I mean, he says it was a continuance issue tonight. And then that's when Earnhardt got mad at me. He got mad at me because, I don't know about the 9th. People keep asking me about it. I'm like, I don't know nothing about the 9th, because all this stuff's happening without me. So, like Earnhardt, we were getting ready to go to trial, same kind of thing, few days' notice. And I called him and I said, but I really want to know, well, that was when I was going to do the writ of prohibition. I might have taken a plea on it. I said, what I really want to know is I keep hearing about this continuance, so I'd like to see a copy. Well, he ran right over and pulled my jury demand right immediately. And I'm like, what is going on? And that's when I did the writ of prohibition, you know, but like I still can't, that's the thing. I haven't seen it yet, this continuance they're talking about, but I mean, the thing is, I didn't appear. I totally didn't appear. There wasn't no continuance. I didn't appear because they didn't give me the dates, and then they issued a warrant on me. And he's calling me, threatening me. They got warrants, they're about to arrest me. I'm like, oh my God. You know, and then he said, why didn't you get a hold of me? You know, I was like, I called you. And then he goes, well, why didn't you get a hold of me? And I'm like, I was on the operating table, and he quit. He quit. Right then. That's exactly right. I went down there to tell him I was going to freaking get put on the operating table, and he doesn't have the audacity to talk to me. He doesn't have, on crutches, you know. And that's not as bad as the marijuana charge that I appeared 30. They kept on making me come back and back and back and back on a broken leg. Over and over. And then a year later, 13 months later, they issue a warrant. And I never saw a judge. I did see a judge for a minute. She said she don't got time to see me, right? So then I come back, and it's like the second day after 13 times of going in and out the door, the clerk says, she writes not guilty on the ticket and says it's over and it's done. So I don't think nothing more about it. Why would I? You know? And then 13 months later, I file a motion and get court dates in magistrate court, and they chase me to the Blue Moose. They chase me. They wait till I get to the Blue Moose, and they grab me and say they found me there hiding under the bench. That they found me there, and then they drag me back and put me on a $2,000 bond. And I tell the magistrate, I'm like, are you crazy? And I'm telling him, I got a summons. You just called me a few days ago at my address. You had the county police deliver the summons to my house, and you just sent it to my P.O. box. Are you serious? And they still put a $2,000 bond on me. And the police, even the county police, took me in the room and said they need to stop doing this. I mean, come on. It's crazy. And the thing is, my brother was never drunk driving. Any of the times that they give him DUIs. That's the thing. He was never operating anything.
How did you hear him do that?
Well, he was at the Frank's. Here's what happens. Exactly. He's at Frank's, right? He's trying to leave. He was trying to operate the vehicle. Yes. Okay. People in the bar grabbed the bike. They laid over. They grabbed the bike. They laid over.
Take it out.
They
He did not get out on the road anywhere.
No, he was sitting on a curb. They took the keys and they took the bike from him. It's laying over on its side. So they call the police, and the Westover police are booking a DUI at Starkley. Officer Starkley, he's booking a DUI. He ain't got time. He can't come out. So he sends a Granville cop over. He sits on the curb. That's it. That's it. He gets a DUI. Sitting on the curb. The next time, the bike is broke down. He's at the bar. It's in a private yard. The bike is broke down, has no keys, and don't run. And he's going to try to fix it the next day and goes over and sleeps on the bike. No keys. Does not run in a private yard. They pull up, they give him a DUI. And then they rearrest him on the other one at the same time. No, that's why he sued them, because they're just framing us, man, over and over. They just arrested my brother for buying a pack of cigarettes. They beat my brother up for buying a pack of cigarettes. My other brother, Westover Police, they beat him up. He's coming out to get a pack of cigarettes, and they say someone called and said somebody was walking down the street in the middle of the road wearing a black jacket. He's coming out of the Dairy Mart getting a pack of cigarettes, and they grab him, attack him, throw him against the wall, and start charging him with witnesses. They don't care. No, it's crazy. Oh, and that's, what I think started it all, though, is that my ex-niece or something had somebody living with them, and when she filed a complaint in Granville on the officers, I don't remember what happened, what that was all over. Well, they beat her up. They beat her up downtown, bruised up her wrist in front of everybody. She beat it, dismissed. Jenny Boyers? Jenny Fortney, but Jenny Boyer's maiden name. Yeah, they beat her up. She beat it. And they said her and my brother were arguing a little bit, and they pulled over, and they just beat her up in front of my brother, see if they could get him to go off. That was Morgantown Police Department, which is rare. This is just going on, man, and that, instead of doing something to stop them, they're just making it worse and more. They're just, protecting them and letting it go and go and go. It's crazy, man. I've never seen nothing like it. Well, you've got, the thing is, you got Mullins is from Granville, Never
been anywhere else.
And then you got Claudius from Granville, so what do you expect? But then again, Claudius threw him out against my brother, but I guess people got a lot of heat over it. And, plus me, I got busted with 200 pounds 15 years ago, but that's 15 years ago, I've been back 6
pounds.
Yeah, well, 15 years ago I did.
Where'd you get 200 pounds from?
I didn't get it. It's somebody else's. I just got caught up in it, so whatever. But it's 15, actually it's more than 15 years. Jesus, it's probably 16 now. But, I've been back 6 years. I haven't gotten any freaking trouble, I have not. And you wouldn't believe the harassment I got after being busted with 2. I've been searched 8 times a week at times, It ain't like, when I was driving around, I get searched, stop. I've been checked, I don't drink and drive because, like I said, freaking, I'm stopped constantly. I mean, you can pull up my record of stops, man. You'll have them 10 pages long. 10 pages long. They gave me a driving on a suspended, but that was dirty because I shouldn't have been suspended. It was over, Tennessee was mad at me, and they suspended me under the murder clause without me knowing, and Morgantown got me. But I understand what was going on there. I was driving around with the license, and, that's just it. I just got into town, and I sued the governor of Tennessee, and I think they ran me in Tennessee and got mad because he sued me under one where they take your license in front of a circuit court judge, unpaid property damage or murder if you hurt somebody, and that way they take it without your knowledge or giving you notice. So I fought that 5 years, man. I appeared in court 9 times, 24 times for pretrial shit, crazy. I wanted to call the Secretary of State, and they don't want to pay for it. The county don't want to pay for it, but they want you to eat the conviction. So, I mean, if I did the crime, I'll take the plea in a heartbeat. If they hadn't done all this, I would probably have taken the plea. If they'd have just said, "Hey, in the beginning, take the first DUI," they'd have had a plea immediately. It wouldn't have been worth fighting. And I don't see where it benefited the cop in any way. I mean, if he, I don't it's just.
I mean, she's saying that's what's on the table. It's what's in
Well, I know, but at this point, it's just beyond that. It's so far beyond that. I mean, I'll do the time in jail.
My question is, how did he was in an accident. He was not an officer investigating an accident. So how can he leave the scene of the accident? If he goes away in EMS, that's fine. But drive his vehicle away and leave? No.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think you should have seen the accident.
Okay, he should be charged with the same as anybody else. And any judge that sits there on the bench and says he was all right doing it is nuts.
That's crazy. Well, I don't know why. They know what's going on. They all know what's going on. It's no secret. That's what makes me mad.
I have a good idea what he was doing. He drove around the corner, parked, and waited on him to drive out. So he could pick him up, fleeing the scene of an accident.
That's why I sent a field file in the circuit court right there. Some clerk decided they weren't going to lay down over and all that. I heard her yelling at her. Yeah, I think we split it back to me under the appeal packet. I heard her yelling at the clerk about that covering that one out. I don't know what they think they're doing.
No, I want to go down, pull a file at the clerk's office at Magistrate Court, records and stuff.
You're best to look at them because stuff's being altered and created.
I want to go actually into the
That's like that continuance. I mean, you can read that letter and see, what is going on. And the judge, the judge was on him about it. I mean, he really was hard on him. Well, he was really hard on him to try to get him alive. But they said, well, in the answer, they say that I was in the hearing, that I agreed and all this stuff, and I come unglued on them because they're lying on me. Why wouldn't I?
Well, that's just like the time limit on that Rule 11, okay? The judge gave him 60 days to set and hold the hearing.
You still didn't do it.
Rule 11 says you got to give the magistrate's court
Well, it said 30
6
days.
weeks.
Well, you got
Well,
it.
it was 30 days, whatever it was.
The first one was 30.
You got to give 6 weeks notice before a
They
trial
still
of
haven't done it.
magistrate. And it says shall. So it means it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, there's no way.
And then Summers got off the case, and then went to Mullins.
Well, he did send me a notice. They wanted to send me a notice until the 10th, but I sued Caroline Stoker because I wanted the freedom of information. I sued her the 8th, and I got the notice the 10th. I sued her for freedom of information because they're holding all the information about me being on the bench and stuff. They've called the records.
They're doing that to everyone.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying I want the information so that I can show that I was left on the bench and that this continuing stuff is garbage, So I sued her, and I got my notice. And, well, there's a lot about playing with service in there, about framing me with the other stuff. not serving the proper address, you know, when they know my address. So a lot of that's in the suit against her, but I sued her the 8th of April. And the 10th I got a notice registered, like they're supposed to. But they should have done it
Well,
weeks earlier, you know,
when
which that's all going to go down.
it was scheduled for trial, why,
She didn't even answer the
Summers wouldn't hold the trial. Because of the time limits.
No, because he tried to screw me, because he called me up and said
Oh, yeah.
I had a hearing
Yeah,
for a day,
a trial,
I was
yeah.
already set to be out of town, and
Yeah.
I said, I can't do it on that day. He said, well, that's the only day that you can do it.
Well,
It's
they
the only
can't do
day
that
I'm available."
anyway.
I was like, Darius, I can't
couldn't do it anyway.
And so he said, well, I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, well, you're not going to screw me like that. I said, I'm going to go to the judge and tell the judge to give me time on the order. And so that's how
my order. That ain't. There's no way anybody could change that. That's my order. That's my case. That
well,
could never happen.
I went to the judge. I told you.
Well, you don't have any place to go to the judge in my case.
Well,
You're not the attorney on that case. That's a pro se case. That's my case, not your case. Not
Well,
anybody else's but my case.
the
That's absolutely no.
time frame for having a hearing affected that. So
No, I'm sorry. That's my case.
Well, what do you want to do about it? I mean, that's it.
I mean, I can't do anything about it. I'm just looking to try to go at it as a motion because I'm not going to be able to do anything about it fast enough. You know that. I'm not after you. I'm not after you because they did that to you. I'm not a person that's against public defenders because they put you in a crunch like that. You know, I understand. I mean, I'm not. You know.
That's the only thing I could do because Darius is being stuck on it. And the only thing I could do is get the judge to amend the order.
Exactly. But I mean, they put you in. They just hung you out to dry in a way. But I mean, the thing is, it ain't legal. They should have never been calling you on the phone. You don't try somebody on 4 days' notice. That's ridiculous. You could tell a 3-year-old that, and they'd know it was stupid. You know? Yeah. I mean, you could take anyone off the street, and they know that's a joke.
They gave me 2 weeks, I think, what it technically was. So they called me like on Friday.
Well, you didn't call us till Saturday or the week before.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure everything out because I didn't know if I was going to get stuck with it or what. So I was trying to get it straightened out.
Well, why didn't he put any orders in about it? There's nothing in the record about it. There's nothing in the order about him schedule it. There's no notices on it. There's no nothing. It's just all out of thin air. There's no orders on nothing in the record. I've been there. I've got copies of stuff.
One for Darius's case?
Yeah. That thing that he said that he called you on the phone about. There's no records of none of that in there. That's just all fabricated out of thin air.
Yeah, I don't think he sent me a notice on either.
Because there is none.
Phone call. That's what he wanted. He said, well, this is the day you're going to have this hearing.
That's no kind of notice.
I said, I'm not going to do that.
I never got any notice on it, ever. Because there is none. There never was any.
Yeah, you may be right. I don't recall.
I mean, how do you do that? How do you hold a jury trial without even printing a notice to cover anything that you're doing? It's just, I've never even heard of such a thing. I don't even know. I've dealt with a lot of attorneys. I have a lot of friends that are attorneys who, hey, God, over the years, and I've never even heard of anything like this.
What is the number on this case, by the way?
Don't ask me. I've seen millions of them. Don't ask me. Every time I look at it, there's a different one. It makes my head hurt. I'm sorry.
2007.
They change it all the time. Like in the order that appoints you, it's different. Like in Susan Tucker's order. I understand.
That was
It's a game. Every paper you touch, every address you touch, everything, it's so hard to put it together because they're just being assholes. What's this? I've seen more papers.
Last deal.
Here's one 11M2077, and that's the same case. What the hell is that, 11M2077? Yeah, what is the case number? And I can show you other ones. They're all different. They're like all, I was going through it last night trying to sort out the case numbers. It's like, it's amazing that I get some kind of a case number that works. But I'm saying I think you got it right with the, I don't know what it is, M31, but 11M31M07007. I think that's the actual, I believe. I wouldn't swear to that though. I mean, but that's not the number that appoints you. From Susan Tucker, it's a different number. You know, there's a lot of different numbers on that one. They didn't want me to be able to track the number. I never really caught that you were appointed because it said Harrison County, so I assumed it was my brother's case. I've never been arrested in Harrison County. It don't even, the order that appoints it don't even say the right county, so I figured it was something from Judge Keeley. Why would I think? I mean, I've never been in trouble in my lifetime. In that county, you know, and it doesn't have the right case number on it either. So, I mean, I just had no clue. It has a different case number. It doesn't match the one that the case is. So, that's just the way it works around Mononglaia County. Nothing's right. They're just showing me that they can violate everything that you got and get away with it. I was looking for that order, but I don't know. I've seen plenty of numbers, though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much, but
I mean, that's all sorted out.
And pull the file in the clerk's office and take a good look at it to see on the time frames and address a motion with the judge on that issue. I told him when he called about this, that there would be some pre-trial stuff that's going to need to be addressed. So.
See, that's the one they appoint you with is 11M2077. That's the one they appoint you in. No, that's different. Damn, man, you can't even figure this out. What the hell is this? Oh, this is a different one. This is another attorney. This is where he gets appointed. I give up.
How many attorneys have you had in this case?
In this one? Just two. You're the second one. Is that right?
Yeah. I think you had Kroger.
Yeah, on this case.
No, you had Kroger first, didn't you? And then you had Craig.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's hard for me to keep track anymore. It's really gotten old.
Well,
I mean, that marijuana case, well, it was for a quarter of a gram, but,
it's ridiculous anyway. They said he'd stop.
Well, I know, I was a DUI checkpoint, I was sober, my car was legal, and that's why I pled not guilty, because I'm like, come on, guys, I'm sober, you found a quarter gram, throw it away, come on, man, and plus I had a broken leg and they made me sit in the rain for 30 minutes while he ripped my car apart, dumped gas all over my electronics.
How old were you?
No, they just, what? 42, and I got busted with 200 pounds a week. If you caught me with a quarter gram, I'm reformed. Come on, what do you? And I got a broken leg. It was in with my pill bottle. Somebody gave it to me. It was literally a pinch someone gave me. I mean, my leg had just been cut into a million pieces, and they're going to drag me out of the car and throw me on the ground in the pouring rain like that, and and then charge me.
I hear you. You're at the age. Yeah, I'm 45.
Well, I quit drinking and everything. That's the thing. I don't even
changed a lot.
Yeah,
When
man.
you do business.
Oh God, yeah. It's just a business now. They turned it into a business. They don't.
Kid, the cops used to like, if you did
They
something.
let you go.
Yeah, if you did something that wasn't totally out of line,
Yeah.
they spank you on that wrist and tell you to not do it again. Now
It's all money. If they only care about the money, they're trained. Yeah, they don't care about helping nobody. It's like people tell me, it's like, I don't even know why we have a probation office anymore. Everybody goes on a home confinement and pays their rent. It's crazy. Yeah, it has. It has changed so much, man. Nobody's out to help nobody anymore. It's just dog and dog.
It's gotten to be totally out of control, and the cops have just gotten to where it's not policing society anymore. It's harassing society.
Well, Morgantown's not too bad. They don't harass like how they did. Like after that marijuana thing, they quit. They used to harass, check me a little bit, and they after that they really, I think it turned them
Too busy with shootings and stabbings.
Yeah, I mean they got real caught up. Yeah, exactly.
You have to stay out of the middle of Morgantown. You're not too
I had a
bad.
murder trial down there.
The worst reputation I've ever had is like in marijuana, and most of the police could care less at this point.
Well, I had a murder trial.